when it comes to wrestling history, few names are bigger than Stone Cold Steve Austin, who remains one of the most popular stars of all time 2 decades after his retirement. Last year, Austin made a one-off return in an incredible program with Kevin Owens, and now somebody else will have the chance to work with the Rattlesnake. BWE reports that WWE is making early plans for Stone Cold Steve Austin to give a big rub to a current WWE superstar, though unsurprisingly, the benefiting superstar was not named in the report. One name that is unlikely to be the superstar is Brock Lesnar, as Austin turned down a match with Brock for WrestleMania 39, and Lesnar hardly needs Austin's help to be a huge deal. When Ringside News asked about the situation, WWE sources said that Austin's return is always discussed, as his show is a WWE project, and a member of creative said Austin's name is always alive here. It's unclear how exactly Austin will help this mysterious superstar out, or whether this will lead to another match for the Bionic Redneck, or even if Steve will appear on TV at all. All we know is that someone is going to be getting the rub, and Austin's name is attached, and with such a legendary star involved, expect something big for one superstar in particular. So who will be the one to benefit from working with the Rattlesnake, whether it be a match or an in-ring confrontation? Well, unsurprisingly, plenty of superstars are eager to share the ring, and a couple of names are already floating around behind the scenes. According to sources backstage, one idea being pitched is for Austin to face AJ Styles, with the belief being that AJ needs something big after his somewhat underwhelming Karrion Kross program. It's worth noting that Styles and Austin had a memorable segment together in 2019, where Austin delivered his signature stunner to the Phenomenal One, which could play a part in the feud. As a talented veteran, Styles being in the ring would help ensure the match goes smoothly, and would be nothing short of a dream match that fans previously thought they'd never see. Another name being considered is US Champion Austin Theory, which would play upon their interaction at WrestleMania 38 last year. A match between Theory and Austin would only help elevate the US Champion even further, something WWE wants to do as they consider Theory a future main event player. Whoever Stone Cold ends up working with, WWE will be happy to have him around. And who would you like to see share the ring with the Rattlesnake? Let us know in the comments. It's been less than a year since Solo Sikoa joined WWE's main roster, but the enforcer of the Bloodline has quickly become one of SmackDown's biggest stars in that time. At Money in the Bank, Sikoa competed in his 3rd Premium Live Event main event, this time sharing the ring exclusively with his family, and that meant everything to the former NXT North American champion. Breaking character on Facebook, Sikoa said that the Bloodline Civil War in London is something that he'll cherish forever, and called his brothers the Usos and cousin Roman Reigns 3 of the very best in the business. Sikoa added that he has made sure to take as much advice as he can from the 3, which is clearly paid off for Sikoa, who WWE is considering as a top main event heel for the decade to come. Closing his statement, Solo said that being able to work with his family at Money in the Bank was his version of a WrestleMania moment, one that he will never, ever forget. On WWE TV, Sikoa is almost always silent, making his lengthy post on Facebook all the more meaningful, and beneath his hard exterior, Solo is very clearly happy with what he and his family are achieving every week. In October 1997, the demonic Kane made his presence felt during the inaugural Hell in a Cell match, and in the year 2023, a new Kane has emerged to wreak havoc. If you've been on Twitter over the past week, you might have come across Blue Kane, who is taking the indie scene by storm and has even caught the attention of Matt Cardona. Like the name suggests, Blue Kane looks just like the original Kane, but with an entirely blue costume. And while the OG Kane would dispense fireballs, this new Kane has what he's calling snow powers. Now the big blue machine has turned his attention to the original Kane, and when confronted with the question as to which is better, Blue Kane said that snow always beats fire. Interestingly, a long-standing rumor in wrestling is that during the Attitude Era, there were plans for Kane to join DX and have a green attire, but Kane busted that myth last October, saying that this was never a plan. With Kane, the original one that is, seemingly retired, it seems we won't see Kane face Kane in 2023, but the big blue machine is ready to put a chill down the spine of all of his opponents. If you've been watching WWE, one name you haven't seen in some time is Braun Strowman, who is currently recovering from neck fusion surgery, which is expected to keep him out of action for close to a year. Strowman has spoken recently about how difficult it's been for him to not be wrestling right now, but this week, the monster among men was able to cut loose at Summerfest. Contrary to what Jeremy Piven infamously said on Raw in 2009, Summerfest is not another name for SummerSlam, but instead a music festival, and attendees were shocked to see Braun at the event. Not only did Strowman appear, but he took the stage alongside Grammy-nominated country artist Zach Bryan during his last song of the night, Revival. Strowman is using stem cell therapy to help speed up his recovery, but he isn't expected to be back anytime this year. And at least the former Universal Champion is having fun during his recovery. In 2015, Stephen Amell made his debut on Raw, and his feud with Stardust would result in a tag match at SummerSlam, in which Amell and Neville were victorious. Recently, Amell confirmed that he is working with WWE on a new project, but kept quiet at the time about details, but we may be mere days away from seeing the Green Arrow star on TV again. On Facebook, Amell revealed that he is heading to the upcoming Raw in Atlanta, Georgia on July 17th, mere days ahead of the Season 2 premiere of his wrestling drama series, Heels on Stars. Amell's timing is interesting, given that CM Punk, who also appears in Heels, recently returned to AEW, and it'll be interesting to see if Amell has any interaction with the now face Cody on Raw. In fact, it's been reported that one idea being thrown around is for Amell to have a program with Cody's recent nemesis Dominic Mysterio, setting up a SummerSlam match as part of a stacked card. Outside of WWE, Amell has competed for ROH in 2017 and was part of the AEW prototype show All In 2018. And what do you think to the Dominic match? Let us know in the comments. We've got some sad news to report now, as Fred Rosser, aka Darren Young, has announced the death of his father. On social media, Rosser confirmed the passing of his 98-year-old father Frederick, and no cause of death is known at this time. Rosser's post spoke about how he'll miss his father's laughs, his hugs, his wisdom, and life lessons, and our thoughts go out to Fred Rosser and his entire family at this incredibly difficult time. In 2017, WWE decided to change up its pay-per-view schedule with the introduction of the first and last Great Balls of Fire event. As you can imagine, fans on social media were hardly kind to this ridiculous name, and countless jokes were spread online, so why exactly did this name get approved? One name who was on the show was Matt Hardy, and on his Extreme Life podcast, he explained that when the talent were told the name, the general consensus behind the name was, "Huh?" When asked if Vince McMahon was responsible for the name, he was confident this is the case, revealing that Vince is a huge Jerry Lewis fan and loves the song Great Balls of Fire. Despite the name, Great Balls of Fire had a stacked card including Roman Reigns facing Braun Strowman in an ambulance match and a dream match between Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe for the Universal title. Unfortunately for many fans, the only thing they'll remember about Great Balls of Fire is the show's name, and don't expect a second event under that name ever again. It was in 2021 that Tyler Breeze's lengthy tenure with WWE came to an end, and for a while, it seemed like fans had seen the last of Prince Pretty in the ring. Despite doing some coaching in his time post-WWE, Breeze has kept clear of the ring himself, that was until very recently. At an event for Next Generation Wrestling Tennessee, Breeze not only made a surprise return to the ring, but defeated Matt Cross to become the new NGW TN champion. Despite Breeze's release from WWE, he still makes appearances as part of Up Up Down Down, and his GM mode Battle of the Brands with Xavier Woods has been a hit with viewers. Whether Breeze begins appearing with his NGW TN championship, who's to say, but what do you hope to see for the former superstar now that he's back in the ring? When Athena debuted for AEW in May 2022, expectations were high, but it wasn't long before she vanished from TV and was relegated almost exclusively to Dark and Dark Elevation. Now Athena is part of the ROH roster and has held the ROH Women's World Championship since last December's final battle, but what does her future with the AEW brand look like? Speaking to Fightful's Grapsody podcast, Athena was asked about her AEW aspirations and said she'd love to be able to face the likes of Chris Statlander and Tony Storm. Athena then said that some people may be wanting to keep her from AEW TV to save their favorite wrestlers from going on the injured list, as the former Ember Moon will show no mercy to her opponents. Athena has dominated ROH's women's division for over half a year, and perhaps she'll be appearing regularly on AEW TV one day, but if that happens, it could be bad news for the All Elite women's division. Last month, AEW Collision launched, and while the premiere episode and the return of CM Punk did well, the ratings have dropped significantly in a short period of time. Last week's Collision did an underwhelming 452,000 viewers, similar to what a typical Rampage does, a worrying sign for the third week of a brand new show that is supposed to be on par, or even more important, than Dynamite. AEW Collision has seen the return of Andrade El Idolo, and despite the worrying viewership figures, the former NXT champion took to Twitter to defend the show. In his tweet, Andrade claims that Collision has done more in 3 weeks than other brands do in 4 years, perhaps a shot at Dynamite, which has been around for 4 years now. Interestingly, Andrade also included some things he's excited for and teased that CM Punk's AEW World Championship could be considered the top prize of the Saturday show moving forward. While a Punk-Andrade feud certainly sounds appealing, it'll take more than one feud to increase Collision's ratings. And what would you do if you were backstage in charge of AEW's newest project?